All right, so here we have Bitcoin on Bybit on the 1 hour. Wow. As you see, we cracked up, barred it out, cracked back down through all major moving averages right now. Your 21, your 50, your 100, and your 200 on the 1 hour. Cracked through all of them. Your momentum switched from pretty nicely bullish to in the bearish control zone of the RSI. Very bearish right now. Your RSI is a momentum oscillator, judge bullish and bearish momentum. Same thing with your MACD. They're both momentum oscillators. They judge bullish and bearish momentum. BBWP down here measures volatility. All right, so you went from the bullish control zone all the way to the bearish control zone in 2 ticks. So you did cross below your signal line, obviously. I mean, even on the RSI, you had the BART pattern, which the BART pattern is when you go up, straight up, chop around, crack back down. All right. Obviously, that's what happened. All right, so your MACD here, fresh cross to the downside of the signal line. Negative momentum on the histogram even broke this last low right here. It's not looking good right now, fellas and ladies. So, I mean, right now you even got held down by the 200. Okay, you had a little bounce, tried to get back above your 20 or your 100 and 200, but you could not do it. So now we're cracking back down. So we are testing the top of the purple zone. Right now we're at 18,900. All right, so if we don't bounce and get back above this POC point of control on the VPVR here to your right, which this indicator measures horizontal volume at a certain price point. All right, so this POC point of control here is basically where we got rejected. It's going to be high resistance. You got your 200, your 100, and your POC coming in right there. So previous points of support and resistance, now it's going to be resistance. All right, so yeah, I mean, your bullish case is that you get back above this last high at 20,000. Basically, I'd even like to see you get above this wick, about 20,400. If that happens, which the probability is very low, I think you could get up to 21,800, and then we'd come back to it. That would also imply that you get out of this bearish control zone, your MACD recross its signal line to the upside, as your BBWP continues to stay in the upper zone above its moving average. Now your BBWP, by the way, cracked above its moving average. So obviously the volatility has begun, and we talked about that at the bottom of here and at the bottom of here, because when it's that low, it's unsustainable. So usually when you're consolidating, it doesn't consolidate for that long, except for about right here. Sometimes it does. Usually once you get to those low regions, it's going to expand, so you range, you consolidate, you pop, you consolidate, you drop, you consolidate, you pop and drop, so on and so forth. Unless, you know what I mean, unless you're trending up or down, but still, that's what it means. Okay, so let's move on to the 4 hour. Oh, by the way, the bearish case is that you break these range lows basically at the bottom of this purple zone. Actually, we're going to move this to right here. All right, we are going to move that to right there. Basically, if you break back into this purple zone at 18,600, which is the level to watch right now, I would expect a small bounce at 18,250. Ultimately, I think we'd come down to 18K like we've been talking about for a while. See, this was a bull trap. Everybody got trapped there. Everybody got long. Everybody thought we were going to 25K again. Not in my opinion. I didn't think we would get above 20,000. We did come up to 23, basically 20,400. But I was skeptical about it because I did think it was a bull trap. And here we are. I did make a good trade off that. Yeah, so we stay ahead of the curve on this channel and in the Discord. By the way, if you guys are liking this video so far, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below. One being the Discord. Join the Discord. We stay ahead of the curve. We talk about these moves before they happen. We have a very high hit rate collectively. So definitely join the Discord. All right, let's move on to the 4 hour. Here on your 4 hour, you, let's see here, did cross your signal line, testing the top of the bearish control zone. We might get a bounce here up to the neutral median line, maybe. A lot of times you'll find support on this bearish control zone or resistance at the top of it. So if we do get a bounce, I would expect it to come up to the neutral median line and then enter the bearish control zone. MACD curling over strong, positive momentum's decreasing on the histogram. We're probably going to cross this signal line. BBWP is very high, which means the volatility is expanding, obviously. Let's go to the 8 hour. 8 hour, same thing, testing the top of the bearish control zone, but you did just cross your signal line. All right, which coming in at the neutral median line, you're going to have high resistance there if we do pop up. MACD was going to cross that zero line and then got rejected from it, which, you know, on the MACD, the zero line is a high level of support and resistance. So continue falling below. We need to stay below 19,323. All right, so to cross below that signal line, it's going to be 17,450 and 19,369 in order to cross that signal line to the upside, which is probably highly improbable. All right, I want to go to the daily real quick. We are in the top of the bearish control zone. We could have got out, we got rejected. If we cross this signal line to the downside and get back below this last low, shit can probably get ugly. All right, your MACD, this is going to test the signal line, but you're probably going to get rejected from there, especially with today's price action. BBWP is very low. Even your moving average has a negative slope. So on the daily, the volatility has not happened yet, but look at this candle. Look at this candle. It's not a good looking candle right there. This last candle we just made, getting rejected from the 50 and the top of the previous range. So, like I said, if we break that purple zone, 18,400, you know, that's the level I'm looking for. Even 18,700, like we said before, 18,700. That's what I'm looking at right now. Let's see if there's anything on the weekly we can be aware of. Okay, so on the higher term time frames, we're still in the bearish control zone. MACD, pretty fresh cross to the upside, but look at that positive momentum. It ain't shit. All right. BBWP's curling up. All right, here we go. BBWP's curling up. So when it crosses that moving average, that's when we're going to get that move either to about 13,500 or up to 24,600. Those are my levels, right? Or those are my price targets. Once the weekly BBWP crosses its moving average. All right. So that's about all I got for Bitcoin. Once again, the bearish case is that you break the bottom, you get back in here at 18,600. Bullish case is that you break these last highs at 20,300. Then we'll come back to it. All right. So let's move on to Ethereum. Here on Ethereum, all right, we're resting basically right at the POC, point of control in the VPVR, finding some support at the bottom of the red zone that we've had mapped out. I do think it's going to break it. We could get a bounce here first, maybe up to the 50 at about 1345. Honestly, I don't think it gets above there. We did just enter the bearish control zone strongly. MACD, fresh cross to the downside of the signal line. Look at your negative momentum on that histogram. It's not looking good. As your BBWP just crossed its moving average from a very low read as the price action went down. Yeah, I mean, it's not looking good. It's just not looking good. Unless you're in a short, you know what I mean? Let's go to the 4 hour. Actually, look, the bullish case is that you break 1400. All right, 1400 is the level I'm looking at. Basically, these last wick highs. If that happens, I think you come all the way up to 1500. But it's highly improbable. The higher probability is that we break 1320, come back down, get a bounce, about 1275, work our way down to $1,000. Like we've been talking about on this channel for a while. We have been talking about this for a while. All right. Let's see here. Let's go to the 4 hour. 4 hour nose diving. All right. So you are crossing below the neutral median line, just crossed below your signal line. MACD, curling around, basically getting rejected from the 0 line. You know what I mean? You have high level of resistance right here. A lot of price, a lot of levels, a lot of support and resistance levels right there around your 0 line. BBWP's in the upper zone above its moving average. So basically, it doesn't look good, and we could go a lot lower. We're probably going to work our way down to $1,000, but stay nimble right now because you can always get a big bounce. I mean, we could get a bounce all the way up to like 1365, the top of this red zone. I don't think we go above there. Honestly, I don't think we get back above 1350 if we do get a bounce and break that 21 to the upside on the next candle. All right, so let's go to the daily real quick. Same thing as Bitcoin. Bearish control zone, MACD to the downside. BBWP is consolidating. So here on like the medium term time frame, I mean, you kind of are going sideways. But if you break that last low, probably going to, like I said, you're going to $1,000 in my opinion. All right, so actually I want to check. So here on Bitcoin, okay, we got rejected basically from this bearish order block. Coming down, finding some support on the POC, point of control in the VPVR here. This is on the 4-hour. And this bullish order block. Stokes nosedived. All right, you are going to enter the critical zone, in my opinion. That's what I'm saying. We might get a bounce here, or we're going to go all the way down to about, our levels from before. All right, let's go to Ethereum real quick on this. Same thing. Nosediving. We're probably going to find some support at 1300, like we were talking about on the other chart. Yeah, I mean, it's just not looking good, guys. It's just not looking good. We already said that. All right, let's move on to Solana. Solana had a double top here. Basically your M pattern, which means we're probably going to go lower. We are finding some support on the 200. Bearish control zone, MACD, coming back down to the 0 line, strong. BBWP is expanding, so your volatility is not over. The volatility is not over. We can get a bounce up to 33.45, up there where this 100 is. If these moving averages come down and have a multi-crossover between your 21, your 50, and your 100, which if they keep curling down, that's going to happen about the same time. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that multi-crossover signal and the fan-out confirmation. If that happens, down to about $31. Yeah, and if $31 breaks, 29 to 28's in the cards. If that breaks, the level that we've been talking about $25. Bullish case, I mean, you got to get above the 21. Got to get above 34.15. I would even like to see 34.30 or 34.50. Yeah, I mean 34.50, because that's going to be your last support zone right here. That's going to be resistance now. Well, basically where you had that pullback to the double top. All right. So there's your bullish and bearish cases. Let's check out the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ also nosedived. Okay, and that probably had something to do with the drop in Bitcoin. All right, so we basically kind of in a range right now. So if we do get the bounce, we might be able to get up to the 21 at 11,350 region. But honestly, I don't think we get above that. I think we will break the bottom of this range. I think we'll get a small bounce at basically $11,050. Possibly up to this to where your range lows are. Right now, your momentum, let's see, curling over on the MACD, RSI, bearish control zone, making the M pattern. So watch that signal line. If it crosses that signal line on a closure, it's not going to look good. BBWP curling up, coming up to its moving average. When it crosses, that's when we're going to break this range. If not before. If it crosses as we break the range, we're going to break 11,050. In my opinion. Next level is 10,700. Okay, that is the red line that I have. Let's go ahead and zoom out real quick. So that's basically the line in the sand that I have had since back here. I also had this red zone before this top. That's how I got out of Bitcoin so close to the top, was the NASDAQ. Once we had this pattern and got rejected and came back down below these lows, I started getting out of my assets about right here, all the way about to right here. I DCA'd out. All right, so we could probably, yeah, I mean, we came back in the broadening wedge. Bullish case is that we break this line at like 12,900. I mean, 12,800 even. That's the bullish case, is that you break that line. Now, if you break these moving averages, you probably will come up to that line in the bottom of this purple zone. But that is far away and improbable. I mean, you're getting the multi-crossover right now. If these things fan out, that's not going to look good at all, and that's going to bring down the crypto market as well. So let's go back down to the 1 hour. We already went over the bullish and bearish case. Let's look at the S&P. All right, so you had the gap down, double top, came back down. You have broken the range lows. All right, so let's look at the next level. I don't have it on this chart, but let's check it out. All right, so let's zoom out. Wow, okay, so basically, unless you're making a double bottom here, and this thing skyrockets and gets back above this purple range, where the gap is, so you could always get a bounce up to there, fill the gap, but it's pretty improbable, to be honest. If you break basically where we are right now, your next level is I would say 3,400. Basically where this wow, man, basically the top of the COVID drop. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be brutal, and that's what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking at right now. It's about 3,400. All right, so obviously the S&P and the NASDAQ are bringing the crypto market down, or vice versa, but most likely it's the the stock market bringing down the crypto market. So here on your DXY, this thing has been trending up for a while now. I did have some stuff marked down here. I was following the COVID crash, all the stimulus stuff, seeing what the implication, or how it affected the dollar. Now remember, this is not the value of the dollar. This is the value of the dollar compared to a basket of other currencies, mostly denominated in the euro. All right, but as you see, I mean, this thing is skyrocketing. I mean, we're probably going to go up to, let's put a fib on this. We're probably going to go up to 116, 116.50 even, to the 3618. That's kind of what I'm looking at for the next stop for the DXY. All right, so if you guys like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the links in the description below. Join the damn Discord. Everyone have a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, and I will see you tomorrow.